Hey, good afternoon. I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, America's hometown in Massachusetts. Let's get on with the Massachusetts update for Monday, May 1st. Monday, May 1st. Let's take a look at our top headlines. There was a mass shooting in Massachusetts yesterday in the city of Lawrence. Let's pick it up with CBS News 4. A little glitchy there. Sorry.
At a house party where a gunman killed one guest and wounded 5 others. The DA has just identified the dead man as 18-year-old Desiderio Arias. The shots erupted at about...
Whoa, wait a second. I don't remember any calls for gun control or anything. We're going to get back to the story in a second. But, this happened in a city that the Democrats really don't care about. They say they care about it, but they really don't. Let's get back to the story.
This morning at an apartment on Royal Street, WBZ's Paul Burton spent the day in Lawrence.
A violent night in Lawrence leaves 5 people injured and 1 dead after a shooting during a house party on Royal Street.
He was on the ground, so I could see that his leg was bleeding and there was blood on his shoe, but I couldn't tell that he was shot.
Investigators say it happened around 3 a.m. at this apartment building. Neighbors say they heard several gunshots.
Yeah, like 10. Still was bad. We are really scared because I have kids. I got a 2-year-old nephew, which is up there, and then we don't know what's going on the street sometimes.
Look at the worry on that guy. I mean, he's what do you said? He has two little kids or a 2-year-old kid? I mean, that is a concerned father.
Neighbors say they woke up to police going door to door.
Well, they knocked on my door, seeing if I heard anything.
Lawrence police say all 6 people were rushed to Lawrence General Hospital. One of them, whose name was not released, did not survive. 2 of the other victims were taken by MedFlight to Boston hospitals. Dario Perez has lived here since 2008 and has seen the neighborhood change over the years.
This would be a really nice, quiet neighborhood for a while, but lately, people moving from different places, from different states, coming in this area has been going crazy. It had to stop.
It's people from elsewhere. Wonder what he means by that. Could it be illegals? Could it be MS-13? What does he mean by that? What I think he means is that people are ruining his neighborhood. And it's once again, Lawrence is a failed Democrat city. It's a failed Democrat city.
It had to stop.
Neighbors also say they've seen a lot of suspicious activity happening out of this building, but nothing like this. It's gotten to the point where many residents no longer feel safe.
Every other weekends, the people always come out of the I-Green and stuff like that.
I mean, these are nice, decent people that live in. Most of these people being interviewed are nice, decent people. I hate to say this, but they might actually regret being interviewed for this story if the bad people in that house that they're pointing out actually watch this report. I hope that doesn't happen.
It's normal, but it's just when people get out of control.
Because there's no difference between Lawrence, Methuen, and Andover, and there's more people dealing drugs over here than over there. Mm-hmm. So there has to be more police activity.
It's just, a scary feeling. It's really scary.
Police say they don't believe the shooting to be random. So far, no arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. The shooting remains under investigation. In Lawrence, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Paul's a nice guy. I actually met him once a long time ago. So that's the story out of Lawrence, and you just don't see a lot of care. Where's our attorney general? Where's our governor? There's a mass shooting. 5 people shot, I think it was, and then 1 deceased. And it was targeted, according to this news report. It wasn't a random thing. Where's the government? Where's their response? Where's their care? Where's their concern? I don't hear it at all. I don't hear it at all. Nowhere to be found. So the city of Boston has lost its backbone. It didn't take long. Last week, we talked to you about how the city was going to clean up Massachusetts and Cass Boulevards, or Mass and Cass, or what is more affectionately known as Methadone Mile. Of course, it's like a thought crime to actually say Methadone Mile, but they said they were going to clean it up, And that's what's going on today. However, even though they issued a fairly stern letter, so to speak, last week, now they're backtracking on that. Today is the day that they're supposed to clean the tents up off of Atkinson Street. Now, just a little background. The Atkinson Street is home to the Engagement Center, where you can get free crack pipes and needles. Oh, it's awesome. And now they're moving the homeless people, and there's got to be 30-something tents, last media coverage, on Atkinson Street. They're asking them to leave. But that's all they're doing. They're not going to actually force them to leave. And so what will probably happen is what happened last year, is they're going to move to Southampton Street, which is like right, Atkinson Street is a side street of Southampton Street. And and then after everything died down, they'll just move back to Atkinson Street. When they moved everybody off of Atkinson Street last time, they said, "Oh, you can't come back to Atkinson Street." And of course, what happened? They came back to Atkinson Street. Let's pick up this story.
Happening tonight, or today actually, city officials have started the process of trying to remove dozens of tents that have reappeared in Boston's Mass and Cass homeless encampment. Business owners have been complaining for months that the tents are back up, and they say so is the crime.
And now with the cold winter months over, the city is once again looking to take action. Boston 25 reporter.
So because it was cold, they let these people stay here because that makes it better somehow. I don't follow that.
And Lima is live in the South End. And Jules, the city is hoping this can happen without having to take any extreme steps here.
The city is hoping it can happen because they don't have the testicular fortitude to make it happen. They don't have the will to actually move these people off the street.
That's exactly right. I did speak to the mayor's office about an hour ago. They tell me they will not be forcibly removing anyone today. They're not going to be tearing down any tents. Instead, there will be representatives out here asking people to leave voluntarily. And if you
would you please leave our streets?
Behind me, you can see just a small portion of the tents here on Atkinson Street. This is right outside the Engagement Center.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but these news crews are doing everything they can to be at a significant distance from the actual ground zero. So if you know a little bit about cameras, this is a very long shot. And I've been down this street, and this is a very long shot. She's a significant distance away.
We counted more than 30 tents set up in this small area alone. Now, the city allowed them all to stay up through the cold winter months, but starting today, they'll once again start cracking down on this encampment. So last week, the city distributed flyers in this area, encouraging people to start making arrangements and moving their belongings. City officials are offering them free shelter, substance use treatment, and storage options. But some say by kicking people out of this area, it will only force them into other Boston neighborhoods.
Bingo. You're going to kick them out of here, and they're going to go someplace else, and then soon enough, they'll be back here without addressing any of the root cause. And one of the most important root causes is literally this engagement center, which is effectively run by the city, is enabling their drug dependence by supplying them with materials, hardware, so to speak, to take drugs.
They have less place to stay. So when you take away somebody's only place to stay, what do? You're taking down the tents. I mean, streets, it's just going to spread.
So again,
it's going to spread because it's a absolute and complete disaster on behalf of the city. You see this in Los Angeles as well, San Francisco, elsewhere, of Democrat policy failure. Mass and Cass methadone mile is an absolute positively Democrat policy failure 101.
Are out here this morning. They're asking people to voluntarily leave. I have seen at least one person take down their tent of their own accord. I asked them.
Whoa, one person voluntarily left. I wonder what this will look like tomorrow.
Office what they're going to do if people refuse to leave. I was told if they refuse, they refuse. Reporting live in Boston South End, I'm Julianne Lima for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Your local station, Boston 25 News. Thank you very much, Julia. If they refuse to leave, they refuse to leave. In other words, we don't have the will to actually move them out. We do not have the will to actually move them out, and we're not going to move them out. Sean Philip Cotter, Atkinson Street, Mass and Cass, South End. This is where people living on the streets put up tents, but starting again today, they won't be allowed to per the city. So the city is the media. They are so lazy, except for this last report in Fox 25. They got it right. But Sean Philip Cotter, he's just not up to date. Actually, if you don't want to move your tent, they're not going to force you to move your tent. Plan is to have tents removed, and then people won't be able to put them back as normally happens. Do any of you believe that they won't be able to put the tents back? I mean, really, should we have a poll on this? Do any of you believe? So this is at 9:21. Sean Philip Cotter. What's he? Is he with the Herald? I can't remember. He's with the Globe now. 9:21, and he's saying, nope, they won't be able to come back. No, as normal. How many of you they're absolutely going to come back to Atkinson Street? I mean, it's just the way that is going to work. I mean, they're going to come back. That's what's going to happen. Y'all know it. Miles Howard, who's like one of these Twitter activist nut jobs, Boston needs more resources to support mass. We've got to spend more money. We've got to spend more money from the state government to it. Again, it's the government that's giving out the crack pipes. They are enabling the problem. But of course, the government's got to spend more money to address the homelessness crisis at scale. We've got to spend more money. What do they call it in the Alcoholics Anonymous? Codependency. Codependency, I'm pretty sure, is what they call it. Where, yeah, I'm pretty sure that we have a codependent relationship here between the government and the addicts. I'm pretty sure that's what we have going on here. But in the interim, conducting sweeps and displacing unhoused people, don't say homeless, that's stigmatizing, is both cruel and counterproductive. So again, Miles is supporting the let's not do anything plan. The Wu administration, in other words, Mayor Wu, does not have to do this. Yeah, so he's supporting Mayor Wu's basically backtracking. Last week, she said, we're going to clear those tents. And then all of a sudden on Monday, it's, well, you know, if you refuse, you refuse. Okay. We're so pathetic and weak that we can't keep our story straight. But that's how it is in Massachusetts, right? That's how it is in Massachusetts. Talk about being in Massachusetts. You might remember that last year, the legislature passed a bill to legalize, how do I want to say this? Give driver's license to illegal immigrants. And we've talked about this before. But in that bill, they also made your driver's license look the same as an illegal driver's license. There was all sorts of amendments to make it a different color or different orientation, you know, landscape portrait, or have it printed on the ID or on the license that not suitable for voter registration. They had all these things, but all of those amendments got shot down. And so basically now, as an illegal alien, you can have a driver's license that basically establishes your residency in Massachusetts. And if you go to the town hall to go register the vote or the city hall to go register the vote, and you show that, it's against the law, effectively, for the clerk at the city or town hall to dispute your eligibility. So this was a massive entryway to have illegals vote in U.S. elections in Massachusetts. That's exactly what it was. The reason why they defeated every single one of those amendments to make the license visually different than a license of an actual U.S. citizen was so that these people, these illegal citizens, illegal, I don't want to call them citizens, these illegals could then take their licenses, which look just like you and mine, and go down to town hall or city hall and register to vote with no recourse. Now, after that's been accomplished, because there's always got to be the next step. There's always got to be the next step. Now, according to Commonwealth Magazine, the next step is momentum is building for removing another barrier for immigrants. Oh, thank God. Thank God the momentum is moving. Educators in backing in-state tuition rates for undocumented students. Don't call them illegals. The legislature last year approved a new law giving migrants without legal status. Again, do everything you possibly can, but don't use illegal immigrant as a phrase. for driver's license. The bill has been kicking around, blah, blah, blah. The same momentum is starting to build behind legislation that would allow undocumented immigrant students, illegals, to pay in-state tuition for state colleges and universities. So basically, we would be subsidizing, how do I want to say this? Illegal immigration. We're going to be subsidizing illegal immigration. The legislation has been swirling around for a couple of decades, but now it's gaining support. Oh, well, it's gaining support who see this as the right thing to do with practical concerns about the growing number of job vacancies and the shrinking number of college graduates in the state. I wonder why young people might be leaving, qualified young people might be leaving Massachusetts. Could it be the taxes? Could it be the, how do I want to say this? Government control of housing supply, which limits the amount of housing and drives up the cost. Could it be those things? Could it be that our talented young people are moving out of Massachusetts because the government has screwed with the marketplace and won't allow enough housing to be? Could it be that? Or could it be the high taxes? I don't know. You tell me. The Massachusetts university system draws more international students, but all than 2 states. I don't know if I'd be really proud of that. It's among the 15 states with the highest share of populations made from undocumented students. Again, that's not a proud thing. That's something we should be disappointed about. But there is a growing concern that these assets are not being utilized properly, putting the state at a competitive disadvantage. Things are shifting, said Esther Benjamin from the World Education Services, a nonprofit, focused on measuring and encouraging professional credentials for illegal immigrants and international students. She says talented immigrants have been leaving the country. Illegal immigrants have been leaving the country because of the immigration system in droves. Oh, well, so they're coming here to get educated and then they're going back someplace else? That actually sounds like more good news. Where are the details on this? Bills filed by Brendan Crichton of Lynn and Liz Miranda of Boston and Reps Moran and Maduro of Boston would allow in-state tuition rates for illegal immigrants who attend Massachusetts high school for at least 3 years, graduated from a high school, or attained the equivalent GED thing, I guess, and submitted proof that they have filed or will presently file for U.S. citizenship. Crichton recalls efforts to make this change since he started working 18 years ago. He's been on Beacon Hill for 18 years. Do you think maybe give someone else a chance? The bill's made it out of House Committee only once in 2006. Picking up the torch this year is the right thing to do. Well, that's great. Jim Rudy, Greater Boston. See, this is where your so-called, what would usually be your Republicans, are totally in the tank. The law, Jim Rudy from the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, as proposed, makes sense because the students that would benefit would have a connection to the state after living here for years. Right, let's give them something for free. Let's entice them even more to come here illegally. It's a fair idea, he said, if the discount applied to residents, should their immigration status be an impediment? Yeah, because you're in the country illegally. It should be an impediment because you're in the country illegally. Do we have to spell this out? I mean, is it that hard to understand? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's not that hard to understand. So let's see if we can get this to work here. Maybe not. But another, it's not looking the greatest. Another school committee member resigns in East Hampton. But let me just, this display is not working the best, so we'll just go back to the one shot. She's out, and she is one of 2 people who wanted the guy who said lady or wrote ladies. And now the board is absolutely dominated by people who voted against him because of his microaggression. And I know. So 2 people have since resigned from the East Hampton School Committee, and both of them supported, is it Perrone? I think that's exactly what his name is. Perrone, I think. Vito or something like that. So he was the guy who used the microaggression, ladies, and he didn't get the job. They didn't offer it to the next person, and then the two people who supported him are also now gone. So the drama continues. Nothing like a good local school committee story to brighten your day. Over to New Bedford. New Bedford, Matt Stout. New Bedford has championed for years extending commuter rail service, but the city officials are now threatening to sue the MBTA relative to a wrongly claimed or seized hunk of land. Now, this South Coast Rail project is a $1 billion boondoggle. $1 billion boondoggle. I love trains. Don't get me wrong. I love trains, but this South Coast project is a bill. It's not going to make that much difference. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of people taking the train all the way from New Bedford into the city of Boston. I just don't think. I think it's too far. And it's very, very expensive. And while I love trains, it's just not an efficient way to move people over that distance. And doesn't the MBTA already have enough to worry about? That's just my take on it. But what's happening here is the city of New Bedford is now fighting with the MBTA relative to a eminent domain taking that the MBTA took in order to build the South Coast Rail. And what is peculiar, as Adam Bass mentions, this is particularly bizarre because the mayor of New Bedford, John Mitchell, was advocating for construction of the new station and assured residents it's coming, no matter what, in February. So here's a city that desperately wanted this thing, and now they're suing to stop it. The insanity never stops. Wow. We're very happy that Joe Biden declared last September that the pandemic is over. That was great. Remember, he was at the auto show, I think, with Mr. Paley from CBS, if I remember correctly. And the pandemic was over. And he actually declared that it was over sometime last month. That actually ended pretty much everywhere. But just like every government program, I think, as Ronald Reagan said, the thing closest to never-ending life is a government program. COVID shots that you pay for, free COVID shots, are still available. Now, this post here over at Universal Hub by Adam, it indicates that the city is going to close 3 of its 5 remaining COVID vaccination sites, but that means 2 of them are still going to be open. You could still get a free COVID shot, even though the numbers are trending down. It never, ever, ever, ever ends. Whenever we have some type of new stake in the ground with a government program, it never, never ends. Don't you think that pretty much anybody who wanted a COVID shot has gotten it by now? So they're closing 3, but they're keeping 2 more open. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. A minute ago, we were talking about how Democrats, especially Democrats, screw with the market for housing. And when they do that, they always come in with the fix that's going to fix the market. And of course, the fix is always more regulation and more taxes. And then once that Democrat goes out of office, the new one comes in and says, oh, we still have work to do. And they add more regulations and more taxes. And what happens is that there's less housing and the price goes up. It's a cycle, right? Whatever one Democrat does, it fails. And then the next Democrat comes along and doubles down on stupid. So we have a really interesting story out of Cape Cod where I'm going to scroll down here. A move to Cape Cod bumper sticker is riling affordable housing proponents on Nantucket. So Nantucket has a real problem with affordable housing. I want to get to the picture. Here we go here. Nantucket has a real problem with affordable housing because it's just so bleeping expensive to live there. And this new bumper sticker is actually popping up on the island. If you want affordable housing, move to Cape Cod where you belong. If you want affordable housing, move to Cape Cod, where you belong. Now, some people are saying that this is a anti-housing tactic, that people are putting these on their cars in order to express their displeasure with the building of affordable housing. There's been a lot of controversy about that on Nantucket recently. But I think it's pretty clear that, what did I call that? What? It's a false flag. This is a false flag operation on Nantucket. I'm pretty sure that the affordable housing advocates have printed these things up to embarrass the anti-housing people. That's exactly what's going on. So this show is live, and I don't know if you can hear, but we had a car out the side of the window. It's really loud music. The stoplight is now green, so they're gone. Thank God. So let me say that again. I think that this is a false flag and that the affordable housing advocates on Nantucket have come up with these bumper stickers to embarrass the anti-housing advocates. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. I don't think that Boston.com is getting the drift of that, but I'm pretty sure what's happening here. That the bumper sticker arrived anonymously at Nantucket Town and Country Building last Wednesday. It's inflammatory message touching on the live wire of one of the island's most hotly debated issues, affordable housing. If you want affordable housing, move to Cape Cod. It really infuriates me, said Jason Bridge of the sticker's message. I don't think it's funny. I'm sure people are trying to goad us. Do you think? Somebody thinks it's funny. In a way, it is funny. Bridges continued, displaying the sticker on the select board's April 26 meeting. It's insensitive at best, and I just don't understand why you would think that then when there are third-generation Nantucketers that are in affordable housing here and have a family, that they're secure and safe. Listen, what happens is there's a lot of people, you may or may not be aware of this, that actually commute to Nantucket, especially tradesmen, by air and by boat. And living over in Nantucket, as you might know, especially in the height of the season, is basically unaffordable. And they've done a number of things to try to make it affordable, all of which have been opposed by the anti-housing crusade, which is in every town. I live in Plymouth. There are a lot of anti-housing people. People hate housing to be built. They cry all the time about the prices of homes. And then when someone wants to build a couple of homes, oh, no, God, no, you can't do that. When the market wants to respond to the desire for more housing, then people go, oh, no way. That's a very common thread around here, especially Plymouth is very strong. If you're against housing, then you have a pretty good chance of getting elected in Plymouth, at least. It's a very strong urge, very strong urge. And I think these people are getting punked over in Nantucket. I think that bumper sticker came from a housing advocate trying to embarrass the anti-housing advocates. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going. It's a false flag. Now, GBH News never fails to entertain in any way, shape, or form. A lot of bang for your buck with jail-based art programs. So on Monday, Eddie takes macroeconomics at 9. Then at 10, he takes a course on statistics and probability. Eddie also studies French and exercises daily. Eddie has been, this sentence killed me. Eddie has been living in the Franklin County Jail in Greenfield, Massachusetts since before the pandemic. Eddie has been living as, I suppose that's true, but the way they write it as in that's been his choice, right? Eddie has been living. That's in the second paragraph. Can you see it? Let me just put it a little bit bigger. Eddie has been living in the Franklin. I guess he has been living there. That is true, but they make it sound like he wanted to live. He's a criminal. That's why he's living there. But you're paying for his French class and for his macroeconomics and all those other good things. And for privacy, he asked that we not use his name. A large part of his day spent shared with his in his cell with his bunk bed, desk, toilet, and sink. Lovely. Many of the courses he takes are virtual. Being allowed to use the tablet in his jail, this is not automatic. He's earned the privilege. That isn't that nice. I wonder what Eddie did to be in prison. It gives me something to do. Well, I'm very concerned. I'm very worried. I'd hate to have Eddie be bored or have to pick up, I don't know, a Bible. On top of that, music is something that helps a person and it enhances our mental capacity and ability. Eddie is part of an intermediate group lesson in the past few weeks, has been focusing on minor pentatonic scales. James, who also asked to be anonymous, uses a Fender guitar donated to the program. I've been dabbling for guitar for 3 years, but it wasn't structured. Well, I guess now that you're in prison, it's structured. I guess now that you're in prison, it's structured. I wonder if that other guy is also living in the jail. Is he living there, or is he a convict? I think he's living there, not by choice. Not by choice. I loved how they wrote that. Eddie's been living at the jail, like he just kind of checked in, like it was a Holiday Inn. Oh boy! All right, hey, listen. I know you were really worried, but thank God. The drag show during North Brookfield's Pride celebration will go on. So you'll remember that the Board of Selectmen voted for this, and then I'm going to kind of cut the story short, basically rescinded it, and now it's back on because the ACLU pledged to sue. North Brookfield Select Vote last month put it into question. And after they voted against including the drag performance, the ACLU of Massachusetts wrote to town officials saying that declining the drag show is a violation of the constitutional rights. Well, we wouldn't want that. They asked the board to restore permission for the drag show to avoid potential litigation. Here's the town lawyer, I think. I trust my statements above will enable the Rural Justice Network, I wonder how they get their money, to feel confident that it may proceed for the planning of the July 24th event, and there is no need for further insinuations of litigation regarding this matter. I assure you that I have been impressed on the board members that everyone's best interest to leave the March 28th authorization in place. In other words, they absolutely, totally, positively caved because they didn't want to get sued by the ACLU. It's interesting that they're not taking a new vote. I think that if the selectmen voted to have it without the drag show, and now the recommendation from town council is to have it with the drag show, I think there should be another vote on that. But apparently they're absolutely positively caving. They're caving, and that's what happened. So they had labeled it as adult entertainment. The board chairman, Jason Petratus, if I get his name, had labeled it adult entertainment, and he didn't want adult entertainment on the town green. But too bad the ACLU does. So that's what happens. Yeah. So they also, the ACLU, since we're kind of wrapping up the show, they also want homeless people encamped on pretty much any street. It's a right to camp. Anybody has the right to camp pretty much anywhere they want. And if the city wants to get rid of them, the city's going to ask. But if they refuse, they refuse. Meanwhile, the city gives out needles and crack pipes in cookers so the addicts can get more addicted. It's disgusting. It's immoral. All right, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack from Plymouth, America's hometown, Massachusetts. Have a great day. Bye-bye.